Good evening, it's 8 o'clock. The top headlines tonight. NDTV special report. The centre cleared the release of the Bilkis convicts of murder and rape in 2 weeks. The CBI and a special Mumbai court had opposed the release of these convicts. The CBI had said the offence is heinous, grave and serious. A Mumbai judge had said it's the worst form of hate crime, a crime against humanity. The All-Party Board of Cricket Control takes charge. The new BCCI president is ex-cricketer Roger Binny. India will not back Sourav Ganguly for the International Cricket Council. Also, India will not play in Pakistan for the Asia Cup, says Jay Shah. Investigate ex-Chief Minister Jayalalitha's death, says an inquiry committee set up by the ex-government of the AIADMK. Also investigate the role of a close aide Shashi Kala and the ex-head secretary, says the committee. Why wasn't the ex-chief minister taken abroad for treatment? 7 people are dead in a chopper crash at the holy shrine of Kedarnath. The chopper crashes right after takeoff. An initial probe suggests bad weather and low visibility could be behind the crash. Umar Khalid's bail is rejected by the Delhi High Court. No merit, says the 2-judge bench, dismissing the plea. He's been jailed for 2 years for an alleged conspiracy in the Delhi riots. A 7-month-old baby dies in an attack by a stray dog at an Uttar Pradesh complex in Noida. Intestines of the baby are torn out. Fear rises in this area. The mother was a daily wage labourer. She had brought the baby with her to the construction site. An Iran athlete skips wearing the hijab in Korea and disappears after that. A social media post by her says she's fine but worry as there's no actual appearance by the athlete in public yet.
We have made mistakes. I'm sorry for those mistakes.
I'm sorry for the mistakes, says United Kingdom Prime Minister Liz Truss after her disastrous mini budget and rollback. But with that apology, can she hang on to her job? And a Sri Lankan author wins the Booker Prize, his novel about a journalist murdered in the Lanka Civil War. Our lead story tonight is the NDTV special investigation where documents show that the centre had cleared the release of 11 men convicted of murder and rape of a young Muslim woman, Bilkis Bano, during the Gujarat riots, had actually cleared the appeal for let them walk out of prison. The Gujarat government had said they were let out because of good behaviour. But now facts have emerged which shows that the CBI, the investigating agency, and a special CBI court had strongly opposed these convicts being released.
First, the shock of these images of 11 rape and murder convicts walking free. Now, court documents. This 470-page Gujarat government affidavit further sheds light on how the Bilkis 11 got early release. The documents show that the centre approved the release within 2 weeks of the Gujarat government asking for their recommendation. The Gujarat government wrote to the centre on the 28th of June about the convicts' release. The centre greenlit the release on 11 July without citing any reasons for doing so. It also shows that the CBI and a special CBI judge in Mumbai had vetoed the release, but this was ignored. The CBI had called the crime heinous, grave and serious. The judge had called it the worst form of hate crime and said that they do not deserve premature release. Moreover, it seems that the men were out on parole or furlough leaves often, having enjoyed over 1,000 days of parole, adding up to 3 to 4 years. On the campaign trail in Gujarat, the union minister defended the early release of the men, saying it was done as per law.
I have said no. When the government and the concerned people have taken decision, I don't want to make any comment on that, and I don't find anything wrong in that because it is done as per the process of the law.
But in the tweet, Rahul Gandhi said,
grant of premature release to the convicts in the Bilkis Bano case is a stain on this government, a stain whose legacy can never and will never wash off.
Supreme Court has adjourned the hearing on the pleas challenging the premature release of the convicts in the Bilkis Bano case to November 29, asking the petitioners to respond to the counter affidavit filed by the Gujarat government. With Srinivasan Jain, Tanushree Pandey and camera person Pawan Kumar, this is Arvind Gunasekar for NDTV.
A special investigation there. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Modi addressed the global Interpol meet being held in New Delhi and raised concerns over the cybercrime threat. He also urged for international cooperation on terrorism.
Friends, despite all the past successes, today I want to remind the world about a few things. There are many harmful globalized threats that the world faces. Terrorism, corruption, drug trafficking, poaching and organized crime. The pace of change of these dangers is faster than earlier. When threats are global, the response cannot be just local. It is time, and it is high time, that the world comes together to defeat these threats.
Well, moving to other news, it's now the all-party board of cricket control dominated by the BJP. In fact, the only person who doesn't seem to have political connections is ex-cricketer Roger Binny, who is now the president of the board of the cricket control.
Roger Binny, a hero of India's historic 1983 World Cup, is now president of Indian cricket. The 67-year-old replaces another legend, Sourav Ganguly, whose exit has been controversial.
The new group will take BCCI forward. BCCI is in great hands. Indian cricket is strong, so I wish them all the luck.
However, Binny is the only national player in the top cricket board. The big winners are politicians, mainly BJP or BJP-linked ones. Jay Shah, the secretary, is son of Amit Shah, who was re-inducted for a second term. The new BJP entrant is Ashish Shelar, a BJP MLA from Bandra West. He is now BCCI's treasurer. Shelar replaces Arun Dhumal, the new IPL chairman, who is India's sports minister's brother and ex-Himachal Pradesh BJP CM's son. Another new entrant is Devajit Saikia, as BCCI joint secretary, a close aide and childhood friend of Assam's BJP Chief Minister. The one constant, the great survivor, remains Congress's Rajiv Shukla, who is Vice President.
In this country, the belief is we want a democracy without a politician. That doesn't happen. So we have to accept the fact, in case we want to live in a democracy, we have to respect our politician and we have to elect the respectful and worthy people to those positions.
The NCP, whose chief Sharad Pawar dominated Indian cricket for some years, backed the BJP's Shelar, claiming there's no politics in cricket.
हे सगळे लोक तिथं बसल्यानंतर राजकारण करत नाही. खेळामध्ये राजकारण हे कुणीही त्या ठिकाणी करत नाही. ही वस्तुस्थिती आहे, फॅक्ट आहे. उगीचच त्याला एक वेगळ्या पद्धतीचं, आता पवार साहेब ज्यावेळेस तिथं होते त्यावेळेस पण आशिष शेलार तिथं असायचे. आता आशिष शेलार आहेत, त्याच्यामध्ये इतर पण काही सहकारी आहेत.
Posters of Ashish Shelar congratulating for his induction into BCCI are lining up the streets of Mumbai. Such scenes were unheard of in the past, even when Sharad Pawar, at the peak of his political career, helmed the BCCI. But today's politicians want to do their own brand building through association with cricket, and they're all in it together, cutting across party lines.
Following this week's changes in the BCCI, Jay Shah has made it clear that the Indian cricket team will not travel to Pakistan for next year's Asia Cup, but will play at a neutral location. Sourav Ganguly's removal has also seen the return of N. Srinivasan, ex-BCCI president and Chennai Super Kings owner, as a dominant player. 3 years ago, the BJP-backed Sourav Ganguly defeated Srinivasan's candidate Brijesh Patel at the last minute and became chief. Now Ganguly appears out of favour, with only the West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee calling for his nomination as India's candidate for the election as Chief of World Cricket. In Mumbai, with Sohit Mishra, Rika Roy for NDTV.
So we'll keep an eye on what's happening there in cricket and politics. But meanwhile, in an explosive report, an inquiry commission which had been constituted by the then AIADMK government has asked an investigation into the death of the former Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, Jayalalithaa, 6 years ago. In fact, the report has suggested that the role of her close aide Shashikala and others, including ex-health minister and ex-health secretary, should be investigated, and also talked of major lapses by Apollo Hospital for not taking her abroad for treatment. There's been no response from Apollo and the people named yet.
Jayalalitha's death continues to haunt Sasikala. The Arumugaswamy Inquiry Commission report shared in the Tamil Nadu Assembly today says the two did not have a cordial relationship since 2012. The report presented to the Stalin government in August questions why doctors, despite expert recommendations, did not take Jayalalithaa abroad for treatment. Jayalalithaa had perforation in her heart, and experts from AIIMS and Dr. Richard Beale from the UK had recommended an angiogram and treatment abroad. The report states that Jayalalitha's treatment remained exclusively in Sasikala's control, along with a coterie of doctors and relatives.
There is material and evidence to state that it is a collective decision of the doctors, all doctors, and concurrence of the AIIMS hospital, team of doctors, sent by the central government. Stage, this is not proper. In a later stage, we can do this. Nowhere it has stated that Mrs. Sasikala has interfered in it.
The commission also finds criminality against the then Chief Secretary Dr. Rama Mohan Rao and recommends an investigation against Sasikala, Jayalalitha's personal physician Dr. Shivakumar, the then Health Secretary Dr. J. Radhakrishnan and Health Minister Vijay Bhaskar. The commission rejected the AIIMS Medical Board's report and accuses Apollo Hospital's chairman Dr. Pratap Reddy of giving false statements about Jayalalitha's condition. The hospital is yet to respond. Some under the scanner called the Inquiry Commission report full of falsehood. The ruling DMK plans to consult legal experts for the next course of action. But politically, this could turn the heat on Sasikala and the present AIADMK leadership, including a few former ministers, for what the report calls lapses. However, the former judge says he will respond only after a few days. In Chennai with Suresh, Sam Daniel, for NDTV.
And the Tamil Nadu Assembly today also passed a resolution which urged the centre to not implement reported recommendations by a parliamentary committee making Hindi the official language in higher educational institutions. This is what the Chief Minister said in the Assembly as the resolution was cleared.
இந்திய அரசியல் சட்டத்திற்கு எதிரானது. இந்தியாவின் ஒருமைப்பாட்டுக்கு பேராபத்தை விளைவிக்கக்கூடியது என்பதால் பின்வரும் தீர்மானத்தை நான் முன்மொழிகிறேன். அன்னை தமிழ் மொழியை காத்திட, ஆங்கிலம் அலுவல் மொழியாக தொடர்ந்திட, ஏன் அரசமைப்பு சட்டத்தின் 8வது அட்டவணையில் உள்ள 22 மொழிகளையும் அழியாது காத்திட, இந்தி பேசாத மாநில மக்களின் உரிமைகளை நிலைநாட்டிட தமிழ்நாடு மீண்டும் முன்னோடி மாநிலமாக நின்றிடும் நிலை ஏற்பட்டிருக்கிறது. அலுவல் மொழி தொடர்பான பாராளுமன்ற குழு தலைவர் அவர்களால் கடந்த 9/9/2022 அன்று மாண்புமிகு குடியரசுத் தலைவர் அவர்களிடம் அளிக்கப்பட்டுள்ள அறிக்கையில் தமிழ் உள்ளிட்ட மாநில மொழிகளுக்கும் அம்மொழிகளை பேசும் மக்களின் நலனுக்கு
We will not accept the hegemony of a language. The Tamil Nadu Chief Minister there. This is likely to become a strong political issue. Meanwhile, in other news, the bail plea by Umar Khalid filed in connection with the 2020 Delhi riots case has been dismissed by a 2-judge bench. For more details, let's go across to Arvind. So Arvind, 2 years in jail, charged with very tough provisions under the Anti-Terror Act. Umar Khalid's bail rejected. Now, the judges gave reasons why they rejected it. What were they?
Yeah, Sonia, former JNU student Umar Khalid, who is behind bars since September 2020 in this case of a case linked to the Delhi riots, has been denied bail by the Delhi High Court, and the Delhi High Court has said that there is no reason for the Delhi High Court to intervene in the trial court order which had rejected the bail plea of Umar Khalid in a case involving the anti-terror law, that's the stringent UAPA law. In fact, the court also went to an extent of observing that the evidence that has been produced by the police clearly shows that there is a prima facie case against Umar Khalid, and under the stringent UAPA Act, the accused has to prove his innocence, that he has to prove that there is no prima facie case against him. But in this particular case, the evidence are against Umar Khalid, and that's why the court has denied bail. And the court has also said that the witness statement has clearly shown that Umar Khalid actively participated in the CAA, anti-CAA and NRC protests that culminated into riots, and that's where the court said that there are recurring instances of Umar Khalid's name during the entire investigation from conspiracy to the end of the riots, and that's where the court said that prima facie there is a case against Umar Khalid, and that's why the court has refused to grant him on bail.
Right. Arvind, thanks so much for that update. Meanwhile, a new UNDP report has said that 140 million people in India have been pulled out of poverty in 4 years. So this, of course, has become an issue about whether poverty declined faster during NDA rule or UPA rule. But look at what the UNDP says. It says that India's multidimensional poverty fell by 140 million in the 4 years between 2015-16 to 2019-20, and that it fell by 275 million between 2005-6 and 2015-16. So I think the good news is, adding up both tenures, that India's poverty fell rapidly. The report also says that relative poverty reduction is easier when starting levels are lower. This also looks at health, education and living standards, because they do point out that it's not just about how many people came out of poverty, but the fact that in absolute numbers, India still has the highest number of poor people in the world. In tragic news, a helicopter carrying Kedarnath pilgrims has crashed, killing all 7 people on board, including 1 pilot and 6 passengers. The chopper crashed right after takeoff from Kedarnath. The initial probe suggests that it was caused by bad weather and poor visibility, as the chopper crashed into a hillock just minutes within taking off, and tragically all the pilgrims and the pilot on board were killed. Also, this horrific news coming from Uttar Pradesh, from Noida Housing Society, where a stray dog has killed a 7-month-old baby. In fact, his attack on the infant was so bad that his intestines were completely ripped out. The infant belonged to a woman who was working as a daily wage labourer on a construction site. So the baby had been brought to the site by her. But massive protests have been held in the complex after this baby's death, with residents saying that stray dogs should be banned. Now, this is coming from other states also. The recent Kerala court hearing also on what exactly needs to be done with stray dogs and biting and worry over fatal injuries.
Outrage in Noida. After a 1-year-old toddler, child of a construction worker, was mauled to death by a stray dog inside a gated housing society in Noida.
आज उनके ऊपर ऐसे बीत रहा है तो कल हमारे ऊपर भी है। प्लस मुझे जो बच्चा को देखी हो ना, क्या बताऊं, उस बच्चे को देख के हम जो आधा घंटा वहां ही बैठ गए।
The Noida police confirmed the death of the child, saying that it had received a memo from a private hospital where the child was taken to by the residents of the Noida society. Doctors say the intestines of the child were pulled out and he died after undergoing a surgery early this morning. Soon after the incident, 4 stray dogs were relocated to a nearby shelter home. Residents blame the local civic body for failing to sterilize stray dogs, despite 3 incidents of stray dog attacks reported in the society in the past 5 months, as per the residents.
हम लोगों ने कार्रवाई शुरू की। पहले हमने स्टरलाइजेशन शुरू किया, दूसरे पे फिर हमने ये शुरू किया कि अगर डॉग बाइट, कोई डॉग जो है बार बार काट रहा है तो उसको जो है ले जाके शेल्टर होम में रखना और 1 महीने तक उसको सुधारना और उसके बाद वापस छोड़ना। चूंकि माननीय न्यायालय के ऐसी गाइडलाइंस हैं, हम कुत्ते को पूरी तरीके से कहीं से भी डिस्पोजेस नहीं कर सकते हैं।
After the Supreme Court upheld Delhi High Court's order that citizens have the right to feed stray dogs, their feeding and caring is a hugely divisive issue in urban neighborhoods.
उनके पास कहने को कुछ भी नहीं है, वो उनके हाथ बंधे हुए हैं, वो कानून की बात करते हैं, हम हमारे बच्चों की बात करते हैं। वो कहते हैं जो कानून की गाइडलाइंस में होगा हम वो काम करेंगे, हम उनके भरोसे अपने बच्चा नहीं छोड़ेंगे। कल यहाँ दूसरा कुत्ता बच्चे को काट जाए और वो मर जाए, उसका जिम्मेवार कौन होगा?
The anti-dog campaign is in fact counterproductive because what it does is it attacks the feeders on the mistaken assumption that non-feeding, lack of feeding will reduce somehow the population. That's not what happens. In fact, if you feed a dog, there is no way that a dog will attack. A well-fed dog is not going to be aggressive.
While the long-drawn debate around stray dogs and the menace caused by them has been reopened again, residents here in this gated society of Noida, furious, say that it is the Noida authorities' incompetence to implement humane animal birth control measures already in place. In Noida, with camera person Sushil Rathi, Vedant for NDTV.
The mother who was living alone in Delhi has gone back to her native village, having lost her child and in trauma with no idea now what to do or even what compensation or who she is to blame for her baby's death. In other news, 7 kilos of cocaine worth crores has been found in a drug bust in Delhi and Mumbai. These pictures released by the National Narcotics Bureau shows these suitcases being ripped open and the cocaine buried there under the suitcase lining. The NCB says they have busted a transnational drug syndicate controlled by Ethiopian nationals, and it was with their arrest that they found their handlers in Delhi and Mumbai that these drugs, this high quality cocaine, is being used to supply Mumbai and Delhi and being run by handlers in Africa, many of whom had married Indian women to bring these drugs into India. A quick look at markets. Well, they gained today following global cues. The markets rallied to the third straight session today, with the US and Asian markets propelling Indian markets. The Sensex climbed by 1.17%. The Nifty also jumped by over 1% at 1.15%. The rupee fell 7 paise, ending almost flat at 83 rupees 34 paise to the dollar.